Hello, grade 8s. Today I want to go back to 9B. We're going to ignore 9A for the moment and really focus on 9B because 9B threw us for a bit of a loop, and I'll explain why. So I'm going to put my face right over 9A. You can ignore that, and let's focus on 9B. Our task today is to figure out the linear equation that this graph represents. And keep in mind, we're going to be working with the old equation of y equals mx plus b. Now, up till this point, I've been giving you sort of a simple way of finding m, but today we're going to take it to the next level, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to build my table of values down here, give a little bit of space, and we'll say these are going to be my x values, and these will be my y values. And let's fill these in. So we've got, in the x side of things, we've got -4, right? And if you're not tracking me, -4 right here. -2 is the next one. -2. 0. +2. Maybe I should, okay, I'm going to get rid of the spaces here. -2, 0, +2, and +4. Maybe we'll move that over a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so those are the x values. And then on the y side, we're going to go back through the same points in the graph. We'll say this first point is at 8. Second one is at 6. Now, I'm not seeing a 6, but I can see it's directly between the 8 and the 4, so it's got to be right in the middle. 6. The next one is at 4. Next one is at 2. Next one is at 0. All right, I know there's one more point, but I'm going to ignore it for the time being. So we have our table of values. Now, what we've been doing previously is really just focusing on the y side. And I'll start there. What is the difference between these y values in each case? Well, we can see they are going down by 2. So it's -2 over here. And up to this point, we've been able to just sort of insert -2 into this position. But the problem is we've been using what is called a run of 1 in every case. And in this case, the run is not 1. It's actually it is actually 2. And so we need to be really clear on the value of m. M actually represents rise over run. Over run. Or another way of thinking about rise and run is the change in y over the change in x. And this will all become more clear in a moment. Okay, so let's work with that and keep that in mind. What is the change in x, by the way? I said it out loud, but let's make it really clear. X values are going up in value by 2 every time. That's okay. X values are increasing by 2 in each point of the graph. So to go back up to our calculation, oh, let me get into the big box. There we go. Our calculation for m is going to look like this. M equals the rise, and maybe I'll use some green here or some blue. This is rise over the run, the x values. So rise, one way to think of rise is to think of the y-axis going up, and the x-axis is running. So we've got rise and run. All right, so to go back to m here, the change in y is -2. Remember, we found that down here. Over the run, which is +2. I'll put a plus sign even though I don't have to. So m equals -1. -2 divided by +2 is -1. Right. So we're going to put -1 in the place of m. And let me connect the dots here. We're going to say that y equals -1x. Now, in answer to some questions, you can just write -x. You don't really have to put 1 times x because whatever x equals, that 1 will not change it. But just for the sake of clarity, I'm going to leave that -1 here and put it right in our equation. -1x plus b. Now, b is the y-intercept. So from the graph, we know that it occurs right at 4, but we can also solve for b using our equation. And I'm going to do that down here. Maybe I'll change colors one more time. Let's go with green. So I'm going to connect my linear equation over here. Y equals -1x plus b. Let's say I want to solve for b. Well, to do that, I need to plug in some x and y values. So I'm going to use these two values just because they look the easiest to work with. Okay. 2 and 2, x having a value of 2, y having a value of 2. And let's see what happens. So if y has a value of 2, we're going to put 2 equals -1 times 2, because x has a value of 2 as well, right here, plus b. Then we want to get rid of this business. So I'll take this one row at a time. -1 times 2 is -2 plus b. And then to get rid of the -2, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. -2 plus 2 plus b. I'm just going to slow down for a moment to show you exactly what I did there. I added 2 to both sides. So I added this +2 and I added this +2. Okay. And I'm almost done. Get in the big box. Big box. There we go. Okay. And now on this side, 2 plus 2 equals 4 equals. And on this side, the 2's are going to cancel out. -2 plus 2 is 0 plus b. So 4 equals b. So now if I want to go back up here, I can say that y equals -x plus 4. I know that feels like a lot of work. We probably need a little bit of practice with this, but if you can remember that m actually equals rise over run, change in y over change in x, then we can come up with the proper value for m, and that leads us to the correct equation. So 4, remember, is the y-intercept, and we know that from the graph, but we also solved for b using our linear equation. All right, that was a lot thrown at you. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll try to do a few practice rounds with this today.